Under the ethereal glow of a pale, low-hanging moon, Wraithmoor Hall looms ominously against the ink-black night sky. Its ancient, crumbling towers pierce the heavens, shrouded in a swirling veil of mist that dances languidly around the weathered stone walls. The manor stands as a relic of forgotten grandeur, its once majestic facade now marred by time's relentless embrace. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying foliage, a mark of years of neglect that have eroded the manor's splendor. Whispers of bygone tragedies echo through the silent corridors, carried by the chilling breeze that rustles the overgrown ivy clinging desperately to the walls. Flickering candles, remnants of past revelries, cast ghostly shadows that dance macabrely across the shattered windows and fractured stone. In fleeting glimpses, the manor's dark history is unveiled, a bride in tattered lace weeping silently in an abandoned chapel, candlelight wavering as if mourning her eternal solitude, and shadowy figures that flit just beyond the edge of perception, forever bound to the sorrowful legacy of Wraithmoor Hall. These spectral memories weave a tapestry of sorrow and mystery, setting the stage for the haunting tale that is about to unfold. Before we venture into this haunting story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more gripping stories. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're always the first to uncover the next mystery. Now, let's begin. Amidst the cacophony of the bustling city, Victor Arlington's studio stands as a sanctuary of artistic fervor and chaotic brilliance. The room is a kaleidoscope of colors and textures, with canvases leaning precariously against every wall, each one a reflection to Victor's unyielding passion for creation. Brushes, dipped in vibrant hues, are strewn haphazardly across cluttered tables, their bristles stained with the remnants of countless masterpieces yet to be born. But beneath this vibrant facade lies a storm of frustration and creative anguish. Victor sits hunched over a blank canvas, his eyes glazed with weariness, reflecting the tumultuous battle raging within his soul. The once effortless flow of inspiration has dried up, leaving him ensnared in a suffocating void where ideas wither and dreams fade into oblivion. Each stroke he attempts feels forced, every color choice a reminder of the spark he can no longer summon. For months, Victor has been trapped in this relentless struggle, his artistic spirit tethered by an invisible barrier that stifles his creativity. The walls of his studio, once a haven of limitless possibility, now close in around him, their oppressive presence echoing his silent despair. Desperate for a breakthrough, Victor seeks solace beyond the confines of his cluttered sanctuary, yearning for a change that might rekindle the fading embers of his inspiration. In a moment of quiet desperation, Victor discovers an advertisement that promises both isolation and a touch of the extraordinary, a secluded manor available for rent in the remote countryside. The name, Wraithmoor Hall, resonates deeply within him, evoking images of mystery and untapped potential. With a mixture of hope and trepidation, Victor realizes that this forsaken estate may hold the key to unlocking the creative fire he so desperately seeks. Without hesitation, he decides to rent Wraithmoor Hall, envisioning its ancient walls and storied past as the perfect backdrop for his artistic rebirth. Little does Victor know, the manor's haunting legacy will soon entwine his destiny with forces beyond his imagination, setting him on a path where love and sorrow merge in the shadows of eternity. The journey to Wraithmoor Hall is a descent into a realm where time seems to stand still. Victor's car winds its way through a desolate landscape, the road flanked by gnarled trees whose skeletal branches reach out like grasping fingers through the thick, rolling mist. The countryside is cloaked in an eerie stillness, the only sounds the distant hoot of an owl and the soft rustle of leaves stirred by a restless wind. As Victor approaches the manor, the full extent of its crumbling beauty becomes apparent. Wraithmoor Hall rises majestically from the mist, its once proud facade now a tapestry of decay. Ivy snakes its way up the stone walls, entwining with broken windows and tarnished ironwork, while the grand facade bears the scars of countless storms and the passage of unforgiving years. The manor's towering spires and ornate balconies, though weathered, still hint at the opulence that once graced its halls. Stepping out of his car, Victor is enveloped by the manor's pervasive aura of melancholy and grandeur. The heavy oak doors, adorned with intricate carvings, creak open with a reluctant groan, welcoming him into a world where history and mystery intertwine. Inside, the grand ballroom awaits, vast and echoing, its high ceilings and expansive space a stark contrast to the intimate chaos of Victor's former studio. Victor walks through the cavernous room, his footsteps muffled by the thick layers of dust that blanket the floor. He selects a spot near a grand, arched window, the perfect vantage point to capture the manor's haunting beauty on his canvas. Setting up his easel with deliberate care, he begins to prepare for the days ahead, dismissing the local superstitions and ghostly tales as mere folklore. To Victor, Wraithmore Hall is not a place of fear, but a sanctuary where his creativity can flourish unfettered by the distractions of the outside world. As dusk settles over Wraithmore Hall, the manor transforms under the cloak of night. The fading light casts long, twisting shadows that seem to dance and shift with a life of their own, playing tricks on Victor's weary mind. Undeterred, he immerses himself in his work, the rhythmic motion of his brush strokes a comforting routine amidst the encroaching darkness. The first night is a delicate balance between focus and fatigue. Victor paints diligently, his eyes scanning the grand ballroom, capturing the interplay of light and shadow with meticulous precision. Yet, as the hours stretch on, an unshakable sense of unease begins to seep into the manor's atmosphere. A faint brush of cold air caresses his neck, sending a chill that makes him shiver involuntarily. He dismisses it as a draft, the manor's old windows allowing the night air to intrude. But as he turns back to his canvas, Victor notices his breath hanging in the air, visible in the sudden drop in temperature. The shadows in the room seem to deepen, their edges blurring and twisting in unnatural ways. His heart quickens as he senses an unseen presence hovering just beyond the periphery of his vision. Yet, rationality prevails, and he convinces himself that it's merely his imagination playing tricks in the solitude of the manor. Determined to push through his creative block, Victor redoubles his efforts, but the subtle disturbances continue. Flickers of movement at the edge of his sight, whispers that vanish when he turns to listen, and an ever-present sense of being watched gnaw at his concentration. The manor's oppressive silence amplifies each minor anomaly, making them seem more pronounced and unsettling. As midnight approaches, Victor feels a growing discomfort that he can no longer ignore. The manor, with all its beauty and promise, begins to reveal its darker side, an unspoken history that clings to the very walls, whispering secrets of sorrow and loss. Yet, amidst this rising tension, Victor remains resolute, unaware that his decision to seek solitude within Wraithmore Hall has set the stage for a haunting encounter that will forever change his life. Days blend seamlessly into nights as Victor settles into the rhythm of life within Wraithmore Hall. The manor becomes both his muse and his captor, its ancient halls echoing with the whispers of forgotten souls. Each morning, he awakens to the soft light filtering through stained glass windows, painting his studio with hues of crimson and sapphire, a stark contrast to the dark mysteries that lie beyond. Victor's paintings flourish under the manor's enigmatic influence. His canvases are now alive with ethereal beauty, each stroke imbued with a sense of longing and melancholy that mirrors the manor's own sorrowful legacy. The grand ballroom, once a place of opulent gatherings, now serves as his creative sanctuary, its vastness allowing his imagination to roam free amidst the echoing shadows. Yet, with each passing day, the manor's mystique deepens. Faint melodies drift through the halls at twilight, a haunting lullaby that seems to emanate from the very stones of Wraithmore Hall. The shadows grow ever more pronounced, twisting and elongating in ways that defy logic, as if the manor itself is alive and watching. Victor begins to notice subtle changes in his surroundings, flickering candlelight that dances without flame, portraits whose eyes seem to follow his every move, and doors that open and close on their own accord. As his obsession with his art intensifies, so does his fascination with the manor's history. He digs into old journals and faded photographs, piecing together fragments of stories that hint at a tragic past. Among these tales, one name stands out, Eterna, a bride whose life was torn away by betrayal and sorrow, her spirit forever bound to the manor she once called home. Victor feels an inexplicable connection to her story, a pull that draws him deeper into the manor's haunted embrace. In fleeting moments, Victor catches glimpses of spectral apparitions, figures draped in ethereal garments that dissolve into mist as quickly as they appear. These encounters, though brief, leave an indelible mark on his psyche, fading the lines between reality and the supernatural. Eterna's presence becomes a constant undercurrent in his daily life, a silent muse that fuels his artistic fervor while hinting at the profound and tragic love story that lies at the heart of Wraithmore Hall. As the days stretch into weeks, Victor's world becomes inextricably intertwined with the manor's haunting legacy. His paintings capture not only the physical beauty of Wraithmore Hall but also the intangible essence of its sorrow and mystery. The manor's mystique envelopes him, drawing him further into a web of love, obsession, and eternal longing, setting the stage for the dark and romantic journey that awaits. As the days meld seamlessly into nights within the confines of Wraithmore Hall, Victor's dedication to his art deepens, driven by an unspoken force that seems to emanate from the very stones of the manor. One late evening, under the dim glow of a solitary candle, Victor paints with fervent intensity, each brushstroke capturing the essence of his growing obsession. The grand ballroom, now a canvas of shadows and light, becomes the backdrop for a transformation that Victor cannot yet comprehend. As midnight approaches, the air grows inexplicably colder, the once warm glow of the candle flickering erratically as if in distress. Victor pauses, feeling a subtle shift in the atmosphere, a whisper of movement at the edge of his vision. A soft, sorrowful whisper floats through the room, barely audible over the sound of his own breathing. Victor. His heart pounds in his chest as he turns slowly, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and curiosity. There, in the corner of the ballroom, stands a figure of ethereal beauty, a woman clad in a tattered bridal gown, her pale skin almost luminescent in the candlelight. Her dark eyes, brimming with unshed tears, fixate on Victor with a haunting intensity. Eterna, as she would later reveal her name, remains silent for a moment, her presence filling the room with an overwhelming sense of sorrow and longing. The air around her seems to shimmer, her form wavering like a fragile mist caught in a gentle breeze. Victor, she whispers again, her voice a delicate echo that resonates deep within his soul. Fear grips Victor initially, the rational part of his mind struggling to dismiss the apparition as a figment of his stressed imagination. Yet, the undeniable reality of Eterna's presence ignites a spark of curiosity and empathy within him. He feels an inexplicable connection to her sorrow, a silent plea that transcends the boundaries between the living and the spectral. In the days that follow, Eterna's presence becomes a constant undercurrent in Victor's life at Wraithmore Hall. Their encounters, though fleeting, grow more profound, each apparition unveiling fragments of a tragic narrative woven into the manor's very fabric. Victor listens intently as Eterna shares her haunting backstory, betrayal, heartbreak, and a love that was brutally severed on her wedding night. Eterna's voice carries the weight of centuries-old sorrow, her words painting vivid images of a night drenched in betrayal and blood. Her fiancé, consumed by jealousy and rage, had torn her world apart, leaving her spirit eternally bound to the manor she once called home. Victor finds himself entranced by her beauty and the depth of her sorrow, each revelation pulling him deeper into the web of Wraithmore Hall's haunted legacy. Their interactions become more intimate, with Eterna influencing Victor's paintings in ways he cannot explain. Her ethereal beauty and sorrowful essence seep into his art, transforming his canvases into masterpieces that pulse with a life of their own. The once muted colors of his work now burst with ethereal light and haunting shadows, each piece an echo of the spectral muse that has captured his heart. As Victor's obsession with Eterna intensifies, so does his fascination with the manor's history. He explores old journals and faded photographs, piecing together the fragmented stories that hint at a love story marred by tragedy. The recurring symbols in his paintings, broken vows etched in the background, subtle blood stains that mar the pristine surfaces, serve as visual echoes of Eterna's tortured existence. With each passing day, Victor's skepticism wanes, replaced by a profound belief in the supernatural. The distinction between reality and the ethereal waver, his world becoming inextricably linked to the manor's haunted past. Eterna's presence not only fuels his artistic prowess but also deepens his emotional connection to Wraithmore Hall, anchoring him further into a destiny intertwined with love, loss, and eternal longing. As Victor's relationship with Eterna deepens, his grip on the outside world begins to falter. The boundaries between his art and reality dissolve, and his obsession with both the manor and the spectral bride consumes him entirely. Days bleed into nights, each moment spent within Wraithmore Hall tightening the manor's hold on his soul. Victor isolates himself from friends and the remnants of his former life, his sole focus directed toward his art and the enigmatic Eterna. The once orderly studio becomes a sanctuary of chaos, with canvases scattered haphazardly and paints drying in neglected corners. Sleep becomes a distant memory, replaced by restless nights spent chasing the elusive inspiration that Eterna seems to provide. The supernatural elements within the manor escalate, their intensity matching Victor's growing obsession. Objects begin to move of their own accord, chairs scrape across the floor, books fly open to pages that whisper forgotten secrets, and mirrors reflect scenes that are not present in the room. The whispers that once were faint now crescendo into a haunting symphony, echoing through the vast halls and piercing Victor's fragile sanity. Eterna's presence becomes more dominant, her appearances more frequent and insistent. She stands closer, her touch hovering like a cold breath against his skin, her eyes pleading for a connection that transcends the mortal realm. The manor itself seems to breathe with a life of its own, the walls pulsating with the energy of trapped souls yearning for release. Victor finds himself at a crossroads, torn between the allure of eternal love and the desperate need to reclaim his life from the depths of obsession. The internal conflict gnaws at him, each moment spent within the manor blurring his sense of self and reality. The once clear path to inspiration has become a labyrinth of shadows and whispers, with Eterna as both his guide and his tormentor. Under the shroud of a storm-laden night, the truth of Wraithmore Hall's haunting legacy is unveiled. Lightning illuminates the grand ballroom in stark flashes, casting long, jagged shadows that dance menacingly across the walls. The air is thick with the promise of revelation, the atmosphere charged with an electric tension that grips Victor's very being. Eterna appears before him once more, her ethereal form more defined and sorrowful than ever. The flickering candlelight reveals the anguish etched into her delicate features, her eyes shimmering with a depth of emotion that transcends mortal understanding. She approaches Victor with a grace that belies the torment of her eternal existence. "Victor," she whispers, her voice tinged with both hope and despair. "There is a way for us to be together, beyond the confines of this forsaken place." Victor's breath catches in his throat as he listens intently, the weight of her words settling heavy upon his soul. The realization dawns upon him that Eterna's longing for connection is intertwined with a curse that binds her spirit to Wraithmore Hall. Her plea is not merely for companionship but for a joining of their souls, a merging that defies the natural order of life and death. She explains the ancient curse that condemns her to an existence of eternal sorrow, her spirit tethered to the manor by the violent betrayal that shattered her once happy life. The only way to break the chains that bind her is for another soul to willingly join her in the spectral realm, forsaking their mortal life in exchange for an eternity of unending love and sorrow. Victor grapples with the enormity of her revelation, the reality of Eterna's existence crashing upon him like the relentless storm outside. The allure of eternal love is intoxicating, a promise of a connection that transcends the temporal limitations of life. Yet, the cost is staggering, a permanent surrender of his mortal existence, leaving behind the world he once knew for an endless embrace of the supernatural. As the tempest rages on, Victor stands at the precipice of a decision that will forever alter the course of his destiny. The manor's oppressive presence looms around him, its silent whispers echoing the inevitability of his choice. Eterna's eyes plead for his acceptance, her sorrowful gaze both a beacon of hope and a harbinger of the darkness that awaits should he choose to step into the veil. The storm that had raged outside Wraithmore Hall has subsided, leaving behind a haunting stillness that blankets the manor in an eerie calm. Inside the grand ballroom, the air is thick with anticipation and the weight of unspoken choices. Victor stands alone, his heart pounding in his chest, the echoes of Eterna's plea reverberating through his very soul. The flickering candlelight casts dancing shadows around him, mirroring the turmoil that churns within. As Victor gazes into the spectral eyes of Eterna, his mind begins to unravel the tapestry of his past, weaving memories that starkly contrast with the ethereal presence before him. Flashbacks invade his consciousness, each one a poignant reminder of the life he once knew. In the quiet moments of reflection, Victor's mind drifts to his life before Wraithmore Hall. Memories of bustling city streets, the vibrant chaos of his studio, and the simple joys of everyday existence flood his thoughts. He recalls the times when creativity flowed effortlessly, untainted by the darkness that now envelopes him. These flashbacks paint a stark contrast between his bleak present and the alluring presence of Eterna, whose spectral beauty offers a glimpse into a world beyond the mortal realm. These memories clash with the present, where the manor's oppressive gloom and Eterna's sorrowful gaze beckon him into an unknown fate. The stark contrast between his bleak past and the alluring presence of Eterna creates a tumultuous storm within his heart. Victor's breaths come heavy, each inhale filled with the weight of his impending decision. The allure of eternal love and the promise of unending inspiration tug at the very core of his being, offering an escape from the confines of his mortal existence. Yet, the shadows of his past and the remnants of his former life whisper warnings of loss and irrevocable change. The grand ballroom seems to hold its breath as Victor grapples with his choice. The manor's walls, steeped in centuries of sorrow, press in around him, their silent witness to the agony of those who came before. Eterna's presence remains a constant, her ethereal form shimmering with a sorrow that mirrors his own internal despair. In a moment of profound clarity, Victor's obsession overcomes his fear. The desperate need for connection, for inspiration, and for a love that transcends the boundaries of life and death becomes too intoxicating to resist. His resolve hardens, and he steps forward, the decision etched into every line of his weary face. With a final, persisting gaze at Eterna, Victor succumbs to the depths of his obsession. The room seems to pulse with energy as he embraces the path that will forever alter his destiny. His choice is made, not out of rationality, but from the unyielding grip of a love that promises both salvation and eternal entanglement. The candlelight casts a golden hue over the grand ballroom, its flames flickering with an intensity that seems almost sentient. Victor stands before a blank canvas, his heart racing with a mixture of fear, anticipation, and an unshakable sense of destiny. Every breath he takes is heavy with the gravity of his impending transformation, the air thick with the scent of wax and anticipation. With deliberate intent, Victor dips his brush into a palette of deep, haunting colors, shades of midnight blue, spectral white, and the crimson hue of sorrow. Each stroke is imbued with a fervent passion, his hands moving with a precision that belies his inner turmoil. The canvas begins to come alive under his touch, capturing the ethereal essence of Eterna in every delicate line and shadowed contour. As the painting nears completion, Victor feels the oppressive weight of the manor's curse pressing down upon him. The boundaries between the tangible and the spectral fade, the room pulsating with an otherworldly energy. Determined to seal his fate, he reaches for a small vial of laudanum resting on a nearby table, a symbol of his surrender to the darkness that beckons. With trembling hands, Victor uncorks the vial, the liquid within shimmering ominously in the candlelight. He raises it to his lips, the bitter taste a stark contrast to the sweet promise of eternal love. As he drinks, a profound sense of release washes over him, the laudanum acting as a conduit for the manor's supernatural forces to intertwine with his very essence. The room responds with a sudden surge of power. Shadows writhe and coalesce, enveloping Victor in a swirling vortex of darkness and light. The temperature plummets, and the air crackles with energy as Eterna's presence intensifies. Her spectral form glides closer, her touch both tender and commanding, her eyes reflecting an eternity of sorrow and longing. Victor feels his mortal form begin to dissolve, his essence merging with the very fabric of Wraithmore Hall. The final strokes of his masterpiece capture not just Eterna's beauty, but the depth of his own transformation. The canvas becomes a portal, a gateway between the living world and the spectral realm, where love and sorrow are eternally entwined. As the transformation reaches its peak, Victor and Eterna's hands intertwine, their fingers locking in a bond that defies the natural order. The manor's eternal sorrow becomes their shared destiny, their souls forever bound within the haunting embrace of Wraithmore Hall. The emotional peak is palpable, a crescendo of love, loss, and the unbreakable ties that transcend life and death. Months have passed since Victor Arlington's fateful decision, yet Wraithmore Hall remains ensconced in its timeless slumber, its secrets held tightly within its ancient walls. The manor stands as an untouched relic, untouched by the passage of seasons, its grandeur now a somber emblem of the love and sorrow that defines its legacy. On a crisp autumn morning, a group of curious locals, drawn by tales of the manor's haunted history, ventures into the desolate landscape surrounding Wraithmore Hall. Their footsteps echo through the overgrown pathways, the once majestic estate looming ahead, its windows dark and lifeless. The air is thick with anticipation and the haunting essence of forgotten memories. As the visitors explore the manor, they find it as lifeless as ever, the grand hall silent except for the whispers of the past. Yet, amidst the dust and decay, one artifact stands out, a final painting, untouched by time, displayed prominently in the grand ballroom. The canvas depicts Eterna and Victor, their spectral forms intertwined, their faces etched with an eternal mixture of sorrow and joy. Their hands remain locked in an unending embrace, a visual representation of their undying bond. The painting seems to shimmer subtly under the fading light, a silent embodiment of the love that transcended the mortal realm. It is as if the very essence of their union breathes life into the stillness of the manor, forever capturing the moment of Victor's transformation in their eternal entanglement. As night falls and the moon reaches its zenith, the manor awakens once more. On nights when the full moon bathes Wraithmore Hall in its silvery glow, the whispers of love and longing drift through the ruins. Faint melodies, reminiscent of Eterna's sorrowful lullaby, echo through the empty halls, inviting those who listen to delve deeper into the manor's enigmatic embrace. The locals speak in hushed tones of the painting's glow, a subtle illumination that hints at the spectral presence of Victor and Eterna. Some claim to see their figures moving within the canvas, forever bound by a love that defies death itself. The manor's legacy continues, a haunting reminder of the choices made and the eternal bonds forged within its timeless walls. Comment below with your thoughts. What part of the story sent shivers down your spine? Do you have your own terrifying tales to share? We'd love to hear from you. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, don't let the darkness end here. Subscribe to our channel to uncover more spine-chilling stories and original horror narratives that will haunt your dreams. Like and share this video if it gave you goosebumps. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story as we travel into the shadows, exploring the darkest corners of imagination. Until next time, may your nights be filled with enchanting whispers and unforgettable dreams.